Hello and welcome to the channel. Today is going to be a little bit of a different show. It's going to be really focused toward one specific situation, and this is under the topic of relationships, in the book Happiness and Well-Being Through Balance and Progress, the PROWIRC method. And this specific area for a relationship that we're going to take a look at here today is that part in the relationship, a romantic relationship, where the person has, one of the two people in the relationship has decided they've lost their shine toward the other person. And this video is going to be made for that person who the shine was lost toward. In other words, if you're in that situation where your significant other has, decided that, they don't have that interest in you anymore, and they don't have a romantic interest in you anymore, and so maybe they don't even have an interest in being in the relationship with you anymore, and you're maybe in some of these scenarios. Do relationships recover from these scenarios? Not all. They don't. But are there things that you can do to stack the odds in your favor? Yeah, I believe there are. And I believe that you can actually use some topics of the PROWIRC method here from this book, Happiness and Well-Being Through Balance and Progress, the PROWIRC method. And I actually have also designed a little a PDF which is available on the website, which is linked here, specifically for a program for a person who is in that scenario in a relationship where where it seems like the relationship's done. You would like it to continue. You'd like to know if there's anything you could do, or you would like to brainstorm ideas of things that you could do, and you'd like to put them into practice as a last-ditch effort, or maybe a first big effort, or a renewed effort, or some type of effort toward absolutely pulling this relationship back together. And we're not going to approach it from the standpoint of that it can't be approached from, of talking the person into you. Anyone is saying, but we've had all this time together. Doesn't that mean anything to you? Look at all the things that look at all the ways that I love you or desire you, or I've done things, nice things for you, or this or that. And how about that? And and trying to sell a person on those ideas when they, for whatever reason, that romantic feeling that they had about you is gone. That's probably, when we think about it, and I just said it right there together, everyone has done that at one time or another. If you go, back through relationships when you're, when you're younger and you have more of them, or hey, maybe you're that younger person now, and however old you are, and you're having the relationship in that scenario. Let's just suggest that trying to sell a person who is over you on the idea that, they shouldn't be over you. You're all that. No, that's never going to help. And let's just get our heads around that right now and forget that as a strategy. In fact, here's a strategy that I do suggest, in the book. And the strategy is work on yourself. Focus on yourself. Stop being focused on the person who is planning to leave, threatening to leave, is already leaving, or has already left. And if you would like the best opportunity you can possibly have of having that person reinterested in you, potentially have some feelings rekindled toward you, really the only chance that you have of getting there is to work on yourself. And that will do a couple things for you. First of all, the old thing about the best way to have a, good relationship is to have more to offer, and, but also there's that thing of, we talked about in the book, that thing of magnetism between people. We don't know what it is. Sometimes we don't know what it is that brought us together in the first place. Well, sometimes it's, you first meet people, they're, maybe some of the attractions physical, usually if you're at the failing end of a relationship, you go, oh, gee, well, everybody found everybody funnier early on. Everybody found everybody more entertaining early on. Maybe you were more funny early on. Maybe you were more entertaining. Maybe the time that you've spent, just sort of focused on the other person, or focused on the relationship, or focused on all the other challenges of your life, maybe these things have sort of robbed you of some of those qualities. And, and for whatever reason, the other person has just decided, yeah, that's not for me. You're not the person I thought you were, or I'm no longer attracted to you. But if we have looked down the PROWIRC methodology, power, relationships, organization, wealth, image, relaxation, and creativity, and with the idea of, in the book and in our concept here, of keeping those areas in progress. Let's say for a relationship booster, a potential fix. Again, they're not all going to be fixed. Sometimes people are done. They're just done. But I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of relationships, and just by being a people watcher, a people observer, and I've been involved in them myself, where the effort that a person makes on themselves sort of changes the polarity in the relationship between two people. And it is to say that, when we look at our section on power, one of the, obviously our mental power, our physical power, a person's trying to improve their physical power. We're going to be trying to eat better. We're going to be trying to exercise. We're going to be trying to gain strength and that kind of thing. But the truth of it is, we know when a person is in better physical condition, they're more attractive to people. Let's face it. A person starts doing some physical work on themselves, they become more attractive. When a person becomes more organized in their life and spends times organizing things, more related to their goals, they become more effective. Effective people are also more attractive. As we get each of these areas of our life in progress, we suddenly become a better version of our own person. Now, when we get, obviously in the various areas, it doesn't take a lot of imagination to realize, okay, you have a personal image and that kind of thing. And when you've gone through some of the PROWIRC exercises and you've said, okay, is this image in alignment with what I want to achieve in my life? Well, if the image was not in alignment with attracting the person that you were trying to be in the relationship with, then your image is not in alignment with that. And there's things that you can do for that. The area of relaxation and what you do in your spare time. Doing more interesting things in your spare time makes you a more interesting person. Let's face it. And the last thing, obviously in the PROWIRC method, the last letter C, creativity. People who spend more time on their creativity, on their creative skills, on their creative projects, and on their creative power become more interesting. The more creative you are, the more interesting you are. And you're going to be more interesting to anyone. You're going to be more interesting not just to that other person who's going their own way, but to everyone that knows you. And so what I'm not going to suggest here that, this video is designed specifically for that person who would like to reignite something with that person who's, planning to bail out on them and would like to do that last ditch effort. And it's not for the idea that I'm going to say, gee, you absolutely have to have that person, or that you should put your mind around that. I don't think that you should put your mind around that in the sense of saying, no, I absolutely have to have that person, whether they want to come and go or not. That's unhealthy. But let's say if you want to say, you know what, I'd like to be able to reconcile this in my mind, and I'd like to make one last effort on this relationship. And I think that focus on yourself, move these 7 areas into progress. I believe that a large percentage of people are going to find that that person actually suddenly sees things in you they didn't see or haven't seen in a while, and they are going to be more attracted to you. I mean, there's just no two ways about that. Now, there's going to be a percentage of these people who are not coming back no matter what happens. And if you have been focused, let's say for a night, like call yourself a 90-day program here. Say, you know what, for 90 days, I'm going to work on these 7 areas of my PROWIRC, whether I've been doing it or not before. And I'm going to try to bring each one of these areas in progress to improve myself. At the end of the 90 days, there is a high percentage that you are going to find that person reacting very differently to you. But in the small percentage of time periods where the person's already done and they're gone and it doesn't work, you're going to have another benefit out of those 90 days. Now that you got your focus back on yourself, you're working on your relationship with yourself, you're bringing all your areas into progress, you're going to feel really good about that. You're going to have a sense of well-being, a good sense of well-being that you're going to need to go on in your life without that person, and to connect with other people that are going to really appreciate, who you are and what you're accomplishing and what you're doing, what you're about. And, that might be the route it has to go. But anyway, there's some ideas, and that for the person that wants to put in that last effort, I think it's good to have a program to how to do that. The program is work on yourself. You can't talk other people into relationships they don't want. Improve what you have to offer, and see if that helps the situation. But you're not just improving what you have to offer that person, you're actually improving what you have to offer yourself. And that is going to improve your situation either way. Thanks for joining me here today. I know this topic was for a very specific audience, not for everyone, but, in the PROWIRC book, there's a lot of various areas there that, you're going to have to pay more attention to at certain times in your life than you are in other times of your life, depending on what's happening. Also, there is going to be here on the website, if you go to the link to the website, I have a PDF document going up there that gives a quick tune-up list of a person that says, hey, you know what, I want to get on just a 90-day program here to do specific things to move these areas ahead in my life in such a way as to make me more attractive to someone. And, I've taken the time to brainstorm some ideas here. If you want to go on there, it's a very small fee to get that PDF, and it's nowhere near the price of the book, or whatever. And you may or may not want to buy the book someday. If you have success with this, you probably will. But for a couple of bucks, you can get this PDF from the website, and put your mind on this. Work on yourself for 90 days. No matter what, the benefits to you are going to be substantial. The benefits to the other person are going to be substantial whether they decide to stay or not. First of all, they're going to really appreciate that you've stopped focusing on them and started focusing on yourself. And secondly, that just might be all it takes for them to actually suddenly rekindle that attraction to you. Thanks again for joining me on the show here today. And hopefully you've got some ideas from the show, whether or not you get the book or whether or not you get the PDF file. We certainly have talked about some ideas here. Have a good day.